Hi everyone, this is Tiffany Harrison. I'm the Counseling Department Chair at Milton High School, and today you should have received your blue course selection form from your middle schools. I'm going to walk you through a couple of scenarios of what you can expect to see on these forms or some things that might be confusing to you on these forms. So before we get to what is on the top sheet, all of the instructions for completing course selections are on the attached document. So while we're going through this form, you'll review the teacher recommendations that are on the top sheet, and we will get back to that in just a moment. All students must submit this form with a parent signature, even if you don't want to make any changes to the courses that are listed on the blue sheet. In the boxes below here, you will neatly print the 6 classes that you wish to take during the 25-26 school year. We do ask that all rising 9th graders include 2 alternate electives for both the fall semester and the spring semester in the event that one of your top 2 elective choices doesn't fit in your schedule. Year-long classes should be written in both semester 1 and semester 2, like so. And 9th grade students do have to take 6 classes every semester. Students can elect to take government, AP government, or AP Human Geography as a 9th grader for their social studies course. Please keep in mind that if your student is taking AP Government as a 9th grader, that is not offered online for them. So this chart can look a little daunting at first, and I don't want anyone to feel any mass panic when looking at this because once we walk you through it, it's quite simple. If at any point in time you're not sure what your course options are or what electives we offer at Milton, you can scan this QR code and it will take you to the Rising 9th grade page of the Milton website that has a Rising 9th grade transition guide. It has the 25-26 course catalog. It also has all of the electives that we offer listed there. So walking you through these boxes and how to complete them, you will see there is a section for math, science, ELA is for your English course, social studies, your first elective choice, your second elective choice, and then 2 alternates. So you might be wondering, what in the world do I fill out here? That's when you'll refer to the first page. And these are the courses that your teachers recommended your students for the 25-26 school year. So we can see that this student was recommended for Advanced Algebra Honors. So this is a student that's pretty far ahead in math. This student was recommended for AP Government, Intermediate Chorus, Lit Comp 2 Honors, which formerly is known as 10th Lit Honors, Physical Science, and Spanish 3 Honors. So going back to the original form, let's say your student does like that Advanced Algebra Honors class. You would neatly print Advanced Algebra Honors in both categories. The science that was recommended was Physical Science, but let's say your student really doesn't want to take that. They want to take Biology. You can write in Biology as your course selection. Because you were not recommended for this course, that's when you would want to put something in this column, because you do need to sign a waiver acknowledging that you're waiving into a course that you were not recommended for. There is an additional signature required on the back, but in this column you can put a Y or a yes. Same thing here. And because this is an on-level biology course, you can just put O for on-level. The English course that we were recommended for was Lit Comp 2 Honors. I'm sorry, I'm kind of smushing this in here. And let's say your student really wants to take this course online. That's when you would check this little box indicating that you want your student to take their English class online. For social studies, your student might have chosen AP Government because that's what they were recommended for. We had chorus as an elective. And I think that that was Spanish 3 Honors as the other elective. So this is the full list of core courses that your student really wants. And again, let's say for some reason chorus doesn't fit in the schedule or Spanish 3 honors doesn't fit in the schedule. For this particular example, we don't have that kind of problem, but let's say, for example's sake, we do. We know your student might be interested in Intro to Healthcare. That could be an option. Your student also might be interested in art. Intro to Art is a semester-long course. So we know that for the fall semester, they would need to take the intro course, but then in the spring, they could take ceramics or sculpture or digital design or drawing and painting. For this example, let's say your student would like to take Intro to Art and Ceramics 1 as a backup course. This is how you complete this chart. The only reason that you would need to go in and add this is if you're making an adjustment to what you have on the front sheet. All requests for online classes do require submission of the appropriate form, so you're going to see the back. Request to waive into an honors or AP course against teacher recommendation does require submission of the appropriate forms on the back. And then all course descriptions are found on our counseling website. On our Milton website. It is also on the counseling website, but you can find it under academics as well as on the counseling page. You could also just use the QR code up here that I mentioned before, and that will route you to all of the course descriptions. So the student will sign here, the parent will sign here, and then you will date. Because we've requested an online class and we're waiving into something that we weren't recommended for, you need to see the back of this form. The back of this form, please read through each of these parameters if you're requesting an online course. The parent signature is required. The student signature is required. Then we would like to know what period you prefer to have this class. If you're only taking one online class, we prefer it to either be first or seventh period. We don't like students to have free time in the middle of the day because we do not have a designated space for students to sit in if they have an online class in between two Milton classes. We're also not an open campus, so students are not permitted to leave just because they have an open space in their schedule. So for example's sake, let's say your student knows they play softball and they're going to leave early often when they have games, and you know you want that online class seventh period. You might also know that you really want your online class through Fulton Virtual, and then you would circle that. For the honors and AP course waiver, or if you're waiving into courses against teacher recommendation, you do need to read through these parameters. Down here, we know that the course we were recommended for was physical science, but the course we're waiving into is biology. And then you would need a parent signature and a student signature. This is a great example because this student was recommended for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 classes. That works great. As a rule of thumb, all students need an English, a math, a science, a social studies, and then 2 electives. So this is a great example of hopefully what most students received, but we do know that there are some cases where a student might see something that looks a little bit different. And so that leads us to our next example, which is the exact same. There's a blue sheet that has the teacher recommendations on top, and then there's also the form where your student can fill in everything that they desire. But you'll notice students are supposed to have 6 recommendations. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So something is missing. If we're using our chart where we know that students need an English, a math, a science, a social studies, an elective, and another elective, we can go through and we can check off what we've been recommended for and see what's missing. So government is a social studies. Geometry is a math. Lit Comp 1 was formerly called 9th Lit, but Moving on, it's going to be called Lit Comp 1. Physical science is your science credit. Spanish 2 is an elective. So that tells us that your student needs to make a decision. That's when your student would want to go through and utilize this QR code and go and see what elective options or course options we offer at Milton High School. And then for elective 2, they'll fill in their preferred new elective and still list 2 alternates. Everything else remains the same, but you can always make this checklist to the side to see what you're missing and fill in the blanks. Our final example is a student who has very bare bones recommendations, and this might cause a little bit of stress to some, but again, if you've got the method, if you know you need an English, a math, a science, a social studies, an elective, and another elective, we can use a checklist to see what we're missing. The student has government, which is a social studies, Lit Comp 1, formerly known as 9th Lit, and physical science, which is a science. So we know we're missing a math credit and we need to list a few electives. This one is unique because in 9th grade, we are now adding in government. If it's not AP government, this is a semester-long on-level government class. So your student would also need to find another elective to fill in the other semester of their schedule. So government would either be in the fall or the spring. A few examples of semester-long electives that your student can take are health, personal fitness, intro to art, piano, guitar, or PE courses. So there are options that your student can use to fill in the other semester if they're taking the on-level American government as a 9th grader. So as a rule of thumb, use this checklist. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to your middle school counselor. If it's something your middle school counselor can't help you with, they can reach out to the high school. We hope that this was helpful in explaining how to use this form. If there are any resources that you need more explanation on, please reach out to your middle school counselor. Otherwise, we are very excited to have you next year, and we hope that everything goes smooth with your course selection process. Thanks so much.